So guys, we're gonna get after cutting out your pattern, pinning up the darts and doing all the marking. This is the second part of the tutorial. In my first tutorial I show you how to cut out this pattern, how to cut it out on the fabric, how to pin up the darts, pin up where you have to pin up. So now this is the stage we'll get to the actual sewing of this garment. So what we're going to do now, we're going to sew these darts together and press them, and then we're going to fit these garments up. So what you will need your fabric, your pattern that you cut out, the pieces, and you're going to need a long zipper. Now this zipper is 20 inches wide, 20 inches. This is a 20-inch zipper, so you will need a 28 inch zipper. You could need to use an invisible zipper, or you can use a gold metal zipper or an ordinary zipper. Now I'm using this gold metal zipper. I will be using this because it would look very nice in the pants. So let's go ahead and let's start sewing these darts. And you'll need a sewing machine to do that, and a scissors to cut your thread. So let's move this aside, and the first thing we're going to do, we're going to get this pants. We're going to get one of the pants and we're going to sew these darts together. So loose out one of your pants from the pattern and let's sew these darts together. So I get one piece, and now I'm going to get my sewing machine and I'm going to turn it on, and I'm going to stitch this dart in place. So now I'm going to get one of the dart. Right, this is what the dart look like. So you're going to open your pants like this. You're going to open your pants and we're going to sew the dart from this wider end right down here, and we're going to tie it. Then when we're done, we're going to sew the crotch of this pants. After we finish sewing the dart, we're going to sew this crotch from the top right down to the bottom of the crotch. We're going to go ahead and sew that. So grab one of your pants and let's begin sewing. So I'm going to sew my dart first in place, and I'm going to sew my dart from the top, from this section here right to the bottom. So we're going to sew that in place. We're going to go ahead and we're going to sew this. So we're going to grab our fabric and we're going to stitch the dart first. So we're going and we're going to stitch this dart here first. We're going to stitch. So you're going to put it on your sewing machine, and now we're going to sew the dart in place. Sew the dart. Mark stitch. And we're going to continue sewing this dart. A long thread so we can tie the dart. So leave a thread, get the next dart, stitch it, stitch this dart in place, back stitch, continue sewing your dart. Now we reach into the end and we're going to leave a long thread and we're going to tie that dart. Now what we're going to do, we're going to sew the crotch. We're going to sew the crotch. Remember the crotch where we have to sew from one end of the crotch to the next. We're going to sew that crotch. So we're going to sew the crotch from one end of the crotch to the upper waist. So we're going to place that on our sewing machine and we're going to stitch that. And we're going to sew the crotch. We sew in your crotch in place. back of the pants. We sew in. So you're gonna back stitch. And now we're gonna give this a other stitch right in the end so that it won't rip apart. Right? So we're gonna stitch this one more, like 1/4 inch from the 4th stitch. We're gonna stitch this, back stitch. Keep in line with the one that you sew. You're gonna remove this and stitch the other front pants dart just as this, and then we will sew the crotch, but we're gonna stop by the zipper allowance. Now that we finished sewing our pants crotch, we add 2 stitch to this. This is the back of the pants crotch, and we sew the dart. Now we're gonna tie off these dart together. We're gonna just get a pin and separate the thread, and we're gonna tie this dart in place. So we're gonna put about 3 knots in the dart. Putting about 3 knots in the dart, and then we're gonna cut. Do the same thing to the next dart. Cut. Separate the thread, and we're gonna tie these 3 knots. And you're gonna cut. Now get the front, rest this aside, get the front pants, get the front of the pants. And we're gonna sew it the same way, but we have to stop for the zipper. Now we get in the front of the pants. This is the front of the pants. We get here, and you can go and sew the dart the same way like how we sew the back of the dart. As you guys see, I already sew my front dart. So go and sew your back dart and tie it off the same way. Sew your front dart and tie it off the same way as we tie off the back. Now for the crotch for the front, we are leaving a zipper allowance. So we will leave the zipper allowance here. We will stop the zipper allowance right here. With this marking here is, we're gonna stop that zipper allowance there. So now we're gonna come and sew from here right down to this little piece right here. We're gonna sew that. So grab your machine, get your machine where we're gonna sew this in place. Get your machine, put it under your sewing machine, and we're gonna sew that now in place. So we're sewing from this marking here. So get your machine, give the pressure foot, and we're sewing from the zipper where we leave. Zipper allowance, back stitch, and sew that. And we're going to the end of the crotch. Back stitch, and we're doing a next stitch just as how we do that one, right next to this one here. So get where you start the stitch from, and we're doing a second row stitch there. Back stitch. So now we're gonna put this aside, and we're gonna open our pants so we see where our pants stitch. So now our zipper allowance will come like this. This is where our zipper allowance will come, right here. Right, now what we need to do, we're gonna put the front bodice together where we could stitch this zipper on force, right? That before we put on the whole other wrist. So let's get the front bodice. Now you're gonna press this seam open. This seam have to press open, right? You're gonna press that seam open, or you can serge it if you want, right? So we're gonna press that open so that the zipper can lie down. So now we're gonna look for the front bodice. So we gotta get the front bodice. Now we're getting the front bodice, which is this. Put the pants aside, grab the front bodice. Now we have to stitch this front bodice dart. So separate one. I stitch one already. I'm going to show you how to stitch the next one. And we stitching from this white part, come to the end, and we're going to tie it the same way. White part to the end, and we're going to tie it the same way. So we have two darts on the bodice. So the first one I'm going to say is the waist dart. Place it on your sewing machine, and we're going to sew that in place. And remember to leave a long tail as you go at the end of the dart so that you can tie it. So I can leave a long thread so that we can tie it. Now I'm going to stitch the bust dart in place and leave a long thread as well. A long thread, and we're going to tie that. Put that aside. Now do the next step, the next set of dart at the front, just as how we do this one. So separate the thread. Separate the thread, and we're going to tie it. Tie it 3 ties. Do the same thing to the next dart. Separate it. Tie. It. Now when you're done, you're gonna have these here, so we need to press these dart. So you need to press these dart, the bust dart down and the side dart to the back. Alright, we need to press these dart. So I'm going to get my iron and I'm going to press these dart. So you need to press these dart down. So go and get your iron, press this dart, this bust dart here, press it down. Press it so that it could face down, and this one here, press this one so that it could be in the back. The pants dart, we have to press the pants dart. Right? Now we have 2 pants dart. Now I always like to press my dart to the back, go into the back, to the side. So press this to the side, press this to the side, and then meet me back at the table when you finish pressing your dart. So for the front now, so this is for the front, we don't press our dart. As you can see, I press one of my bust dart down, and I press the side dart to the side of the bodice. I did not put it to the front. Alright, so now what we're going to do, we're going to get this bodice, we're going to get this pants. I also press my pants dart as well. I press it to the side of the pants, not to the front of the opening. So we're going to get these two. I'm going to pin this. I'm going to pin this bodice. So we're going to pin this right here. We're going to pin this. We're going to put on the zip on this first before we put on the jumpsuit, the back and the front. So we're going to pin this. I'm going to pin this. Get this. It's going to be easier to put on the zip this way than getting the whole jumpsuit in the way. Make sure those dart match up. Pin. And we're going to pin to make sure this dart match up properly. And we're going to stitch 5/8 seam allowance. We're going to stitch 5/8. Now you have to mark your 5/8 seam allowance. As you can see, we have our seam allowance here marked. Alright, so you have to follow that. If you in fabric mark, go back and mark the 5/8 seam allowance. If you don't have it marked, go back and mark it. So we have 5/8 seam allowance. So grab your machine and we're going to sew right across this pin here, right across the next one. So I'm going to grab my own and I'm going to sew. So that's sewing 5/8 seam allowance. I'm going to back stitch. So sewing. My 5 hits. And you make your dart, put your needle down in fabric, raise your pressure foot so that it can come over the dart. And after that, you stick like that, continue sewing. My 5 hits. Stitch the back stitch. And I'm going to cut. So I'm going to cut that. So now I raise my top up. My top will attach to my jumpsuit. And this is what it will look like with the dart, everything in place. This is what it will look like. Alright? Make sure you get them dart match up. So I'm going to get the next one and I'm going to stitch. Now this is what we're gonna have. We're gonna have our jumpsuit attached. So you see, we have our jumpsuit attached. Make sure all these zipper part matching up. So this is what our jumpsuit gonna look like. Now what you're gonna do? You're gonna go now and serge this. Press this here. You're gonna go and serge this and press this. You can press it open. If you want, you can press this open when you serge it. Right? You could press it open. So it could be flat when you're sewing, but I'm going to press it up. Do the same thing for this one and meet me back at the table and serge it. Serge it. So you're going to double sew it the same way as how we double stitch your crotch up. Double sew it like a 1/4 inch from the next one. So you're going to put a double stitch in it. You're going to double sew it. So you grab the next one as well and you give it a double sew. So the waist will have 2 stitching line, so it won't be able to loose easily. Press it now upward and then meet me back here. So after you finish pressing your dart and you finish serging it, now you're knitting the ends. If you have a serger, you're knitting the ends like this. Alright? You go and you're knitting your ends like that so it can look neat when you finish. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna put on the zipper on this. So you're gonna grab your zipper. This zipper, yes, so the zipper, we're gonna put the zipper now into this jumper. So put your jumper like this, take your jumper and put it like this. Put the jumper like that, and now we're gonna place this zipper in place. Now you're going to put your zipper like this, put it under here, and we're going to come and we're going to open out the zipper like that, and we're matching the top here. We're matching the top, come down about that, left a 1/4 inch to the top, like left a 1/4 inch to the top. Extend a 1/4 inch to the top, and then you're going to get your pin and we're going to pin this like this. Pin that across. Do the same thing with this. Don't pull it, let it lie down flat. We're going to pin this same way. We're going to fold this too as well. Fold in. Flat, pin, fold, make sure they right in the side of the zipper. We don't want the tip to cover. I like to see my zipper. I don't know why, you know, everybody have something what they like. Well, I love to see my zipper. So we're gonna pin to make it look more decorative. And we're gonna do the same thing. Push this up, so bring up the pan so that it can lie down flat. We're gonna bring the zipper to this side, straighten it. We're gonna pin. same thing. Raise up the bottom here. We can see up to the opening, and we're gonna pin the zipper right here. Pin it right here. Gonna pin. Let's pin it this way, and we have to sew that in place. So get your pin, pin it, pin it back. Now we have to pin the next one. Back, pin. So now we're gonna get this one here. We have to turn this in as well, so that it can turn in neat. We don't want any pucker in our zipper, and we're gonna turn this in as well. The first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna stem from the top as well. Let the 1/4 inch, as we say, we're leaving 1/4 inch out. You leave the 1/4 inch to the top. Swing your pants to you which side more comfortable. You're gonna pin this properly. Get your chalk and mark with this 1/4 inches. Get your ruler and marking. So you're gonna get your top, start pinning it, leaving the 1/4 inch out, and you want to pin so that we can stitch it. Bring it as close as ever to the zipper teeth, because we want it neat. This one we're doing the same thing, close as ever, don't pull it, we want it very neat. Bring it close. Pinning it. Pin. It's coming down to match up here. Pin. So continue doing it neat. You don't want anything to come and look off key. Remember, this is the front of your clothes. No hearing coming for cover this front of this clothes. So when we reach by the crotch now, we need to make this crotch here look neat. Right around here. This section here have to look neat. Don't want nothing coming and fold up in the crotch. So we need to make this crotch point here look very neat and nice. So pin, close this one out. This crotch area here have to look nice, and we pin. Make sure it in bubble up. Don't want nothing bubbling up in the crotch. Don't want it must lie down neat. You got them crotch area with the zip bubbling up. You don't want that. You want the crotch area zip lie down neat. So this is what it's gonna look like. Now you're gonna sew. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna stitch the zipper straight up and then come back and stitch the other side of the zipper right up. So now we're gonna grab our sewing machine, and what we're gonna do here, we need to change our the foot of the machine, because what I have on is a regular foot, and this is a zipper foot that we are using here. I'll bring it close to the camera so you guys can see. We need to change that foot over so that we can put on the zipper foot, so that we can stitch the zipper in place on the jumpsuit. Now you're gonna grab your jumpsuit now, and what we're gonna do, we're gonna stitch from the bottom of the jumpsuit and we're gonna come up to the other side. Be careful how you sew in. Always put the zipper, keep the zipper foot at the end of the fabric, but give it a nice neat stitching. So now you're gonna fix your jumpsuit under your sewing machine properly, and now you're gonna insert the needle into the fabric. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna lower our pressure foot now, and now we're gonna begin sewing this jumpsuit in place. Now take your time, reverse back stitch, and now we're gonna continue sewing this jumpsuit. Take your pins out as you go so that we can sew this jumpsuit very neat. Now you don't want any bubbles in this jumpsuit. Don't pull this the zipper, just let it lie flat so that it can sew properly. Now continue sewing. When you meet, you take your pins out and sew as you go. Make sure everything is neat. You see, I take a look to make sure everything is neat and lie down flat. So continue sewing. So let's continue sewing this zipper. Make sure everything is neat and flat on this section here. So take a look to see how your jumpsuit looking as I do. And now we're gonna take our pins out, and now we're gonna sew, continue sewing this jumpsuit, this zipper in place, sorry. Now when you meet to the top of the zipper, we have to raise our pressure foot and raise, take the zipper out of the way. Zip the zipper downward so that it won't hit the needle bar and break. When you meet the end, back stitch. Your needle down, lift your pressure foot and get the zipper out. So zip your zipper foot down as you see I'm doing right here to get it out of the way so I can sew the top. Reach to the top for sew it very neat. So continue doing that. Make sure everything line up properly. When you meet the end, back stitch. Make sure it's stitched properly at this point. So back stitch. As we go, you make sure I check in I back stitching now. Now flip your jumpsuit and we're gonna sew the other side of the jumpsuit. Now we have to sew the other side of the jumpsuit. We're gonna swing it around and we're sewing it from the bottom come up as well. The reason why we're doing it from the bottom come up is because we want everything to line up properly, neat and flat. And when you do it from the bottom, you have control around the stop area where you can make sure the zipper lie down properly. If you can see, I trying to fix my fabric in place. I will insert my needle now into the fabric, and now what we're gonna do, we're gonna stitch it. Now put your feet dog down like I'm doing here. Mark which part you want it stitch. So I'm putting a mark right in the bottom of the zipper stop where I want it to sew. So I will insert my needle inside that. Make sure your fabric lie down properly and make sure the rest of the zipper is out of the way. I remember the zipper is a bit longer than the jumpsuit. So make sure it fixed properly. As you can see, I am doing right now here. I am putting it under my sewing machine, insert my needle. As you can see, I turn in my hand wheel. And now what we're gonna do, what happened, I have to stitch down a little piece more down so that the line that I drew, it would come and match up this match up by the crotch area very neat, and I won't get any pucker in the crotch area. Swing your jumpsuit back now at this stage, and now we're gonna continue sewing our zipper. Now make sure your needle is down, and now we're gonna start sewing. I am putting my needle down in the fabric. Now the needle that I'm using is a 18 size 18 needle, because this is a but the fabric that I am using, it's a denim kind of jeans material, a red jeans material fabric, and it's kind of thick. So continue sewing your jumpsuit. Go up the other side, make sure the waistline match up. You don't want when you finish stitching it, the waistline did not match up. So make sure that the waistline match up to the other side. Take your pins out as you go. Don't stretch the jumpsuit. So now we're gonna continue sewing. Now make sure everything is okay. Make sure it match up, and then we're gonna continue sewing. Don't take out the pin and move the top. If too much time, you want a little extra in the top. You want the same amount in the top, in the two top together. You don't want none extra. So move the pin accordingly so that you won't have too much extra on the top. The pin. Pull up. Put your needle down. Raise your pressure foot and remove the zipper. And now hold the zipper in place, put it down and sew. Now we're gonna back stitch. And we're gonna take out. So this is what the zipper would look like when you finish. You see, neat and nice. Now I need a decorative zipper, so I can decorate this with some fancy thread when I finish. I'll show you how I will do that. So this is what your jumpsuit should look like. This is what this should look like. So you have your zipper, and you have, put zip that down like this. So you have your zipper already attached to your jumpsuit. So this is what it would look like. Okay, so now we will grab the back and we will continue. So we have this, so go and press this zipper down and meet me back at the table. Now we have the back. Now for the back of the pants, we're going to grab this back of this top. Now this is the back of the top, and this is the back of the pants. Now this is the back of the pants coming here. So what we need to do, we need to stitch this back right here. So let's go ahead and let's stitch our back in place. We're going to stitch our back. So place it under the machine and let's sew it in place. So you're going to get your back and we're going to sew down this back. Change our zipper foot and put on the regular foot back on our machine. So we're going to put that here and you're going to stitch the back. Remember, we're doing 2 stitches in the back as well. So you're going to stitch your back like that. Go and do a next stitch, 1/4 inch from this one. Stitch to the end. So we stitch this one here, so we're doing a next one 1/4 inch. So now what you're going to go and do is serge this and then press this back and serge this here and then press it and meet me back here. So for the back, you're going to get the back after you're done knitting your back. After you're done serge the back of your pants, this is what it's going to look like. This is the crotch, so we're going to get the back and we're going to pin it onto this here. Make sure the back match up properly. So we're going to pin the back on here. We're going to sew. Make sure the darts they match up as well the side darts them, and we're going to sew it. Sew the back to the front. And we're going to put up, pin. We'll do the same here. Make sure these darts match up. And we're going to pin. match up your side. And we're going and we're gonna stitch same 5/8 seam allowance. So grab your machine and you're gonna sew that in place. I'm gonna sew this in place, same 5/8 seam allowance. I'm gonna sew this. Sew this in place. And sew this. Make sure under it. Sew. Watch this over this. Continue sewing. And you're gonna sew this in place as well. So, make a break. When you're done, your jump is supposed to look like this. So go on knitting this end and press it if you want. We have to do a next stitch. So let's do the next stitch first before we knit in the end. So let's do the other stitch. So put it on the sewing machine and we're gonna stitch this in place. In place. Stitch. So I think I'm gonna stitch. So you can see the canvas. Now go and serge it and meet me back at the table to fit up the side of this jumpsuit. Now when you finish this, what your jumpsuit should look like. Now if you want to put a decorative stitch on your jumpsuit, you can go ahead and do so. Put your decorative stitch, whatever decorative stitch you want, you can put it on to your jumpsuit from this stage here. You can feel like look fancy. Now I need a gold, so I'm going to put a gold decorative stitch onto my jumpsuit, which I have my gold thread here. So I'm going to cut this here, this red thread off my machine, and I'm going to put a gold decorative stitch onto my jumpsuit so that it can look very nice and ready-made when I finish with it. I want it to look very nice and ready-made. So I'm going to put a decorative stitch onto it. I'm going to change the on this end. I'm going to put one stitch like a 1/4 inch from the tip, and then on this end I'm going to come with the next 1/4 inch in. So place it on the sewing machine. Let me do the first one and show you. You just want a decorative stitch on this end. Let's go back to 1, 2, sorry. So you can put any decorative stitch you want to the machine. I just want that decorative stitch, so I will go to this one here. Yes, sir. Fancy decorative stitch. Come and stitch like that. You can put it how you want. If you want, you can do a next one, right? You can do a next one on this end here. If you want, you can do a next one straight across on this end here. I think I'll do 2 right here to make it look ready-made-ish. So place it back under, and from this one here you do the same thing. Put your pressure foot right here at the end of the thread, the one that you sew, and we're going to continue to sew it. So we're going to do a next stitch right in the end. So place in the right in the end, come off the edge. I'm going to place our needle right in the end here. I'm going to sew right at the end. Keep it in the end. Right at the end of that. Right at the end. So you see how neat it looks? I'm going to cross. Look how your jumpsuit look. Like if you just bought it from the store. So you see you put your nice strong stitching. So if you want, you can do it to the waist as well. Turn down the waist and you do it right here, which I'm going to do to make it look neat. Like if it's from the store, I purchased it. So you see how it look. See how your jumper look neat. You can do it to the dart as well. If you want it on the dart, you can do it to the dart as well. You can go and put it on the dart, but I don't want it on the dart. Just want it around here and around here, and I will put it around the other one waist, around the front waist as well. So grab your front if you want it on the front too, and we're going to stitch one here and one here. So let's go ahead and let's sew this down. Same decorative stitch from the end here. We're going to follow 1/4 inch, post our pressure foot right at the edge of this stitching that sew down the zipper, and we're going to stitch along this line. So let's go and do that. You have to know to decorate your zipper how you want it. I'm going to place my own right here. So you see what it would look like. It look very nice, like if this zipper come and stitch from all here. So we will put the next one close to this one, but we have to zip down this here. We have to zip down that, and we have to get a zipper foot to do this. So you could decorate you own how you want it. You have to get a zipper foot. So change your foot. Get your zipper foot. Put it on, and we're gonna do the next sew stitching to make it look neat and nice. Your jumpsuit look spectacular. Your jumpsuit look now like if it was purchased from a store. See how neat and nice it look. Now we're going to come and do the same thing to the front as what we do to the back. We're going to stitch the waistline 2 stitches. So change back this foot and and we're gonna go and sew it. Put on back the standard foot. I'm using an 18 needle. So we're gonna sew this in place. I'm gonna sew this. So come, and we're gonna sew this in place from the end, and we're gonna stitch this. Have to open, so we are not going over the zipper. So you see how we do this nice. So come across, we're gonna cut the thread when we meet there, look for the other thread, and we're gonna do the same thing. Don't sew over your zipper, or your zipper can't open. So we have one stitching. Let's go and do the same to the next one. So right at the end is where we're going to do the next stitch. So watch your needle. So when we meet to the next stitch, give it a slide back stitch, and we're going to take out. You see how our jumpsuit look lovely. If it bought from a store, we're going to do the same thing to this one here. So now you have pushed it aside, and now you have a decorative stitch. Look neat and nice, like if it's a store you just purchase this jumpsuit from. Now my thread finished, so I have to come and do back that one. So now we're gonna hook up this to the back of the front of the back of the jumpsuit. So after you finish pressing your jumpsuit, sorry, after you finish pressing down the thread into the fabric, now we're gonna put this back of this jumpsuit on. So we're gonna lay the back down. Your jumpsuit's supposed to look neat like this after you finish doing your decorative stitch. You can do anything with this at this stage. Before you put it up, you can do whatever you want. If you want to put just stitch a band from around here, you can do it. You can do whatever you want at this stage of this jumpsuit. So we're gonna put that on there, and we're gonna get the front and we're gonna place it to the back. Now you're gonna base this up and go and try it on, and then you're gonna come back and sew it. Try it on and make sure it fit okay. If it's too loose, put the marking where it have to pin. So now the first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna match up the waist. We need to match these waists, this waist up. So we're gonna match the waist. This is the first thing we're gonna do. We're gonna match up this waist here. We're gonna match this waist up. So we're gonna match up the waist. This is the first thing we're gonna do. Then we're gonna match up here. Now we're basing this jumpsuit. Base it with a different color thread. I'm gonna pin. Here. This is. This is. This. Match up the crotch. Match the crotch up as well. So in this section here, what we're gonna do now, we're gonna match up the crotch. Make sure the crotch match up properly as you see in I doing here, because we need this section to line up properly. So this is where the marking I put for the zipper. So now I'm going to match up that crotch properly to make sure that those lines match up properly as you see I am doing here. Make sure that two crotch line match up, because you don't want one line going the other way. Put the two seams facing same direction, and when you're done, you're going to pin it properly and keep it in place and continue pinning the rest or the inner seam, the inside leg. So we're basing the side seam and the leg, the under, by the crotch area here. We're basing all what we pin. So we're basing from the foot come up to the crotch level. So let's base this now. Turn up your stitch width, and we're gonna base this. We're gonna base this. I like to test my test it first to see what I will get before I start sewing. If I will get a longer stitch or a tighter stitch. I just need a basing stitch where I can pull out. So this is a basing stitch I get here, so I will base this. So put the longest thread on your machine, the longest stitch on your machine, and we're gonna base. We're not back stitching because I want to pull this out easy. So that I can see how it look with the belt. So grab your belt if you want to base it like me, and go on. I'm going to grab it, base my own away from the seam allowance, and I'm going to go and try it down with my belt. So now go and try on your jumpsuit, and if it fit good, we're going to come back here and we're going to fit this. We're going to sew it together. So base your shoulder as well. So after you done stitch up your you try on your jumpsuit, it fit properly, you stitch it the same way as how we base the jumpsuit. Go back and stitch it in the same way, right? Now what we're gonna do after you done stitch up your jumpsuit and everything and it fit properly, we're gonna hem our jumpsuit. So we're gonna turn up 1.5 inches. If you, the pattern recommend 1 inch, but I'm a short person, so I will turn up 1.5 inches, and I would pin and then I would sew. Now knitting the end of your fabric, I sewed the end of mine, and now I'm going to turn up 1.5 inches, and now I'm going to sew my jumpsuit. Now I'm hemming my jumpsuit with a cool thread. The reason why is because I want it to look the same way as how I put a decorative stitch on it. So I'm hemming my own with the gold thread. So turn up your own 1.5 inches or 1 inches or how much ever you want, and we're gonna hem this. Gonna hem this 1.5 inches. I'm gonna pin this, and I'm gonna hem this. Make sure it's 1.5 inches or 1 inch. I'm gonna try turn up my own 1.5 inches. And you're going to pin. Now you're going to go to your sewing machine. I'm going to take out this extension tape and I'm going to place my... So what we're going to do here now, you're going to place the pants foot under your sewing machine, and we're going to hem this hem. Now I do a 1.5 inch hem because I is a short person. I don't want my jumpsuit too long. So continue hemming the jumpsuit and hem it till when you reach the end. Now I continue hemming. Remove your pin as you go when you finish hem, and now cut your thread. Make sure everything okay with the jumpsuit. Make sure the stitch is straight. Place it back under the sewing machine, and we're gonna put a second decorative stitch close to the other one that we sew, like about 1/2 to 1/4 inches away from that stitch. And now you take it out, cut your thread. Make sure every thread cut neat and nice. Make sure everything is straight. As you'll see, I look in here, I cut in my thread where I making sure everything is neat and nice. Now cut your thread. Make sure you take out every piece. Look at it properly. Make sure it hem properly. Now take your jumpsuit, the other side of the foot, place it under the sewing machine, and now you're gonna hem the other side of the foot the same way, the pants leg the same way as how we hem the first one. So continue hemming your pants leg and do the same stitch as we did with the other one. 1.5 inches I hem up, and we're gonna continue sewing right away around this pants leg, the hem of the pants, the jumpsuit, and continue sewing. So take it out now from under the sewing machine, clip the thread, make sure the thread pull out all the waist thread as you see I doing here. Make sure it's neat and nice, and then you're gonna check and see which other thread is. Look at your thread properly, make sure all is well, and now we're gonna do a second stitch with this the decorative stitch that we did with the other one. Place it back under your sewing machine, and then we're going to stitch about 1/2 inch away from the other stitch, so it's a decorative stitch we're doing. Now I'm sewing my own with the same thread because I want it to look just as the other section of the jumpsuit, so I begin sewing mine 1/2 inch. So take your time and sew that decorative stitch so it could look neat like the other part of the jumpsuit, so that when people see you with this jumpsuit, they will think you purchased it from a store. Always take your time and sew, and make sure you sew straight. Take your time. If you can sew properly. Now take your jumpsuit out from on the sewing machine, cut the thread. Make sure all the loose end of the thread is cut. Make sure everything is neat and nice. And now what you're gonna do is go and press that seam down neat and nice so that it can do properly. If you have to resew the decorative stitch, resew the decorative stitch. Make sure it's neat and nice. So follow along. So we will have 2 stitch on our the bottom of our pants like the rest of the jumpsuit. We have 2 stitch there. So these would be the decorative stitch that we are doing now. I'm doing my own with a gold thread, as I said, and the needle I'm using is a size 18 needle. So after you finish hemming your jumpsuit supposed to, the hem supposed to look like this with 2 let me put it up, I hope you can see it, 2 line of stitching for decorative stitch. This is your zipper. This is what your jumpsuit gonna look like. I also put 2 for the same stitch here, so you can go ahead and do your decorative stitch. This is the back, look nice. Now it look like if it's this button buy from the store, this jumper buy from the store. Alright, so this is what your jumpsuit gonna look like. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna work on the facing. So this is what your jumpsuit look like. So you're gonna rest this aside still, and we have to work on the facing for the jumpsuit. So we have the facing here, we have back and front facing. Right, so this is the front, this is the back. So this is the back and the front facing. We're going to sew up the same way as we sew up the jumpsuit. Alright, so we're going to stitch this back piece here. So you're going to loose out this. Loose this out. And we're going to stitch up the back piece the same way as how we stitch the back. So you're going to pin this. The front won't be sewing up. The front going on the front would stitch on to the back. We will put when we finish stitching this back piece here. And we finish stitching this back piece. The front will be going on to the back. The front will be going like this, down to the back, like that. So we're gonna match this, match that, match this here, and then we're gonna match these here. Match it, and we're gonna match this, and then we're gonna come and we're gonna sew it. Right? So let's put this back together. Let's put that back there. The front, this is the front, and we're gonna work on the back. We're gonna work on the back piece. So now I have to change my needle. And we're gonna stitch our back in place. We're gonna stitch our back in place. 5/8 seam allowance. Stitch our back, which is 5/8 seam allowance. So this is what our back look like. Now you know, go and press this open or press it to the side. So when you don't press this, you're gonna get it, and we're gonna turn this like this. Now we're gonna get the front. So this is the front, and we're gonna pin one right here. We're gonna pin this here, pin, pin this here, leave that open still. I'm gonna pin this. That. So you're gonna, after you're done pin this two together, the shoulder, we're gonna stitch the shoulder. We're gonna stitch the shoulder 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. next one, stitch, same 5/8 of an inch. Now we're gonna get a jumpsuit. So if you want, you could go and press this open, or you can serge it. So I'm going to serge my own. So after you finish serge it, it's going to look like this. Look like that. And look like this. And then you're going to get the jumpsuit. And we're going to pin this to the jumpsuit. We're going to pin this to the jumpsuit. First thing, we're going to get the back. The jumpsuit is right side facing you. The zipper part is down on the table. So you're going to get the back of this. And this is the back with the seam. And we're going to match this seam up here. We're going to match up this seam. And we're going to sew this seam here. We're going to come and we're going to pin this. We're going to pin this. We're going to pin this. We're going to come with this. And we're going to pin this right here. Pin this. Pin. I'm gonna fold that like this. So when we flap it over, we have the fold. I'm gonna pin that. So when we stitch this and bring it over, we have the fold on it. Pin. That to the pin. Open it up. We're gonna get the end and we're gonna sew it right over here on. Sew it. Okay. So after you're done stitch it, we're gonna get our scissors and you're gonna give it some little clip in between. Some little clip. Clip it right away around so that it can turn. Give it some little snip right away around. Right away around the jumpsuit, not through your thread. Clip it right away around, then we're gonna turn it like this. We're gonna turn it like this. Turn it like this. Turn it over like that. this stitching, and you're gonna stitch and go on edge stitch this. So get your machine, and we're gonna hold the facing down from the inside. So you're gonna get your machine and you're gonna stitch this on the facing, so when it turn it would be neat. So we're stitching it on the facing. The facing side we're using. We're gonna turn this. So our seam allowance gonna be, this is our seam allowance, so it being to my right side. The rest of my clothes being to my left. So when you're done top stitch, it's gonna look like this. So we're gonna fold this under. This for hold the facing in place. I'm gonna fold this under like that. And you're gonna go and you can press this down neat. So go and press this and come back and meet me back at the table. Now when you're done press your jumpsuit, it's gonna look like this. Very neat and nice. Your jumpsuit gonna look neat. Very neat and nice it gonna look. Now we have to done the armhole. Now the way we're gonna do this armhole, we're gonna do this armhole like this. We're gonna do it like that. We're gonna come and we're gonna pin it this way. We're gonna pin it like this. First what we're gonna do, we're gonna turn up here. Because we want it so that we can get the stitch on it. If you want, you could put a sleeve, but I don't want no sleeve on my own. I want my own armless. So we're gonna fold up here. We're gonna come and we're gonna fold here, fold in here, fold it in. Get a pin. Folding in the back more than the front. Back going in more than the front. You're gonna fold this. You're gonna pin this like this. The reason why I do it like this is because I want a stitch. I want the same gold stitch around it. So you're gonna pin that. So my jumper will look like ready made. On it. You gotta come and pin it up right here. On it. Pin. Making sure he match up properly. So pin here for now without turning up, without turning it in. Pin there for now, and then you're gonna come and you're gonna get this. You're gonna do the same thing. Pin it for now, and we have to stitch it. We just want to make sure we stitch the right amount. On up. Just want to make sure we have the right amount we can stitch. So we're gonna stitch here. Put this together like this, like that. Alright, because we're coming out, we're stitching on the wrong side of this. So we're putting this like this, turn it outside out, inside out, and we're stitching 5/8 seam allowance. So grab this sewing machine and we're going to stitch the facing armhole 5/8 seam allowance. Stitch that. now we're gonna come and we're gonna pin because this is gonna turn on the inside. So now you come in now and you finish pinning it on the inside. So we're turning in, turn up 1/2 inch, make sure it turn up properly, and we pin. Pin it. So when you're done, you have a neat jumpsuit. Turn up. Turn up. Pin. Now the reason why I taking my time to show you this section is because I want you to get this arm pattern, this armhole neat and nice. I want you to, when you finish sewing this jumpsuit, it must be neat. Everybody must admire it when you have it on. When you tell them you sew it, they mustn't believe you. They must say that is not true. That's why the reason why I showing you, taking my time and showing you. So stitch around the armhole where we pin right now. Let me do this one and show you how we're gonna sew that. So the gold thread we get and we're gonna stitch in the end. Let's do this other one first. Let us do the other one. Let's pin the next one, fold up the next one the same way. Let's fold the next one the same way. Let's fold. Do it same size. You want to see the back? Do it same size. This side, I'm going inside. Same thing, same. This one, I think also. I'm going to try it in the water. I'm going to place. I'm going to see where it's set up. I'm going to fold it. Okay. Fold it. Some layer over your armhole, and we're sewing right away around all we pin. Now we're gonna stitch at the edge of this jumpsuit, this armhole, because we want it neat. So you have to go back and sew this properly. Now you come half a M. So if you like me and you come off the line, you have to go back and stitch this. You have to go back and sew this. So I would go back in with my red thread before I do my So place your armhole back and the sewing machine from here. Now what you're gonna do from this end, hold it like this, and you're gonna stitch one row stitch right the way around. Like that. So go ahead and do the next one the same way like the top stitching, and then when you done do that, your jumpsuit, and you done do the stitching around the armhole, clip your thread, and your jumpsuit finish. Your jumpsuit finish. So what you're gonna do now is press, give it a good press, and then we will make the belt for the jumpsuit. So here is your jumpsuit, what it look like. Clean up all the thread. This is what it look like. So you're gonna go and you're gonna give this a good press. I'm going to try it on for you, let you see how it look. So guys, I put some image in this link so you guys can see this section of the jumpsuit, how it fit perfect. Now I didn't have to do any alteration to this jumpsuit, it fit perfect. I love this jumpsuit. If you guys want this jumpsuit to buy, it's a PDF pattern. Click the link below this video and it will take you to the pattern where you can buy it now. I love this jumpsuit. This jumpsuit is perfect, it's wonderful, it fit perfect, and the measurement for this jumpsuit is the it's on the website where it will take you where to buy this jumpsuit. So go ahead, click the link, and you will find a PDF pattern where to purchase this PDF pattern. So in this section of the video, as you done you finish your jumpsuit, right, we have the interface in here. So remember we stitch on the interface in and we still got, so you're gonna go and you're gonna hem your interface in as how I did here. You hem it, and when you're done you turn it in, and we're going to pin the interface in right here. We're going to pin this right here, and you're going to go and you're going to hand sew this. You're going to hem this, pin it from the outside, and then you get a needle and thread and you hem this inside for hold the facing down just to the zipper right here. Right, so your jumpsuit finish. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna do the band. Now get your band and put a iron on interfacing on it, iron on a piece of interfacing on it like I did here. And then what we're gonna do, we're gonna turn this band like this, and we're gonna go and we're gonna sew it. So you're gonna turn your band, you're gonna pin here, because turn the band like this, because we're sewing across here. We're sewing across here, right? Let's see if I get my chalk. I like to use my chalk to do my marking. So we sewing across here. Now I like my band to be like this, so I'll be sewing across like this. Right, I will sew that line, and then I would come down right to the length of the band. Remember, the band fold in half, so I would come sew from here, come right down to the length of the band. When I reach the middle part, I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop right here. Stop here. Remember, it's 5/8 of an inch seam allowance to be stitching in. Then I'm going to swing my band around, and I'm going to continue sewing from here. So I'm going to come and I'm going to sew this like this, and I'm going to continue sewing all the way down like this till when I meet, and then I'm going to stop 1 inch away. So between here, I'm going to leave this opening so that I can turn the band over. So go to your sewing machine, stitch here, come down here, stop here, back stitch when you meet here. Then you get your needle, remove your needle and your thread, come back, put your needle, your stitch from here, go right away round, right to this, and continue. Then you're going to turn the band. I will show you how to turn it. So let's go and stitch that and come back. So as you guys can see, I stitch my belt and I leave the opening between right here. So what we're going to do, I stitch my belt right away around, right away around. So now I'm going to trim my belt. Trim my belt. I'm going to trim off the excess because I don't want it bulky. This belt. So now we have to get something to turn this belt over. Now I always use a piece of stick that I have here, one of those Chinese chopstick as I have here. So now I'm going to put it this way, and I'm going to turn this belt, insert it like this. Now this I band into front. So now we have to go and stitch this little piece down, but before we stitch it we have to iron it. So make sure all your corners them come out. If you have to insert back this, and go and push all your corners them out. Push your corners them out. Go to the other side. Push your corners out. Push your corners out. Then you pull this back on. So now you'll go to your ironing board and you press this neat and nice, and then you go to your sewing machine and you would close this piece. So go and do all that and reach me back here. So after you finish press the belt, it's supposed to look like this. Now I did not stitch my own yet because I'm going to do a decorative stitch on this belt. So I just come back to show you what I will do. All from here on here, I'm going to do a decorative stitch right round, just as how I do the jumper. So right away around my belt, I will stitch 2 row decorative stitch here, 2 row decorative stitch here, so that the belt could look properly. So if you want to do the decorative stitch, go and do your decorative stitch and come back here. My own would be in gold where you guys can see it, so go and do it and come back. So when you're done sew your belt and put the decorative stitch, it's supposed to look like this. Alright, so this is my decorative stitch where I stitch some stitch around the belt. So now what you're gonna do, so after you're done cover your belt, you put your piece on. You're gonna get this belt and you're gonna put this belt around here. Now I need to put some white name in this belt. All right, now I need to put some thing in this belt, so I'm going to put this here to bore the hole in this belt. Now go and put your belt around your waist to see how far you need to bore those holes for that belt. So I need to bore some hole for this belt. Go and see how far you need to bore that hole. So this coming over here. So I put in my belt on my waist so I can get the idea where I want it. So this is my belt. Good, so go here. So I'm going to stitch it down here, but I need to bore some hole in this belt, so I'm going to do the marking where the hole need to bore. So I need to bore a hole right here, and on my belt I need to bore a next hole so that this thing can come through. So I need to bore more than one hole, so I need to bore one here, right, one here, here. That's just in case the belt get thing, and I will do one right here. So I put all my marking for my belt that I have to do. Now I have some little hook and nail, some little thing that I would look for, and I will come back. So now we're doing this belt with this arm, so I'll show you how to do that. Now we're pressing it down so we get our eyelet. So we're gonna do one more. I'm just doing one more just in case I get like slimmer where I can open, put my hole, push this through if you want to poke a hole, get the part it is, and we're gonna cut. Look for where you put the hole, and we're gonna cut that hole, little hole, and we're gonna push the scissors through it. Pushing the scissors through, so get back to the same hole, and we're gonna get the eyelet, and we're gonna put it through. Put the eyelet through. And we're gonna come out, we're gonna put this down here. So we have our 4 hole in line. So now what we're gonna do, we're going to bore one right here. So I have to take this out back, bore one to get this belt piece inside. So we're gonna cut the hole right here, right here. Look for where the hole cut is. Cut it right here, and we're gonna find that hole with this scissors. Insert the scissors and find the hole that you do, and we're gonna put the eyelet in the hole. Get the eyelet, and we're gonna put it. Make sure you're putting it the right way. I'm gonna put the eyelet in, find the hole that you do, and we're gonna put the eyelet in. It. And we're gonna press. So now we have our eyelet belt. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna insert this belt in here. Alright, we're gonna insert this here. Insert the belt. Bring it to the eyelet. Insert it. it through the eyelet like this. So you see we bring it through the eyelet and we come in and we insert it back here. So we have our belt like that. So now you're gonna go and you're gonna stitch this belt. Let's insert this back properly. We have to insert this belt here. So this belt coming like this through the eyelet, and then it coming like that. So this is how the belt coming, right? So it coming like this. So we have our eyelet there, and we're gonna go and we're gonna sew this down here. So go and sew this down with your sewing machine and meet me back here at the table. Hi guys, I'm sorry about this. I didn't know my camera was off, so I didn't get to show you the finished belt. So I put some image in the video so you guys can see the finished belt, what it look like. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys soon, and I hope you guys enjoy this tutorial. I know it was a bit long, but just to take my time to show you how to do this jumpsuit, I decided to run this video long to show you step by step. So I will see you soon, and once again thanks for coming back at my channel. Thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.